I grew up in Utah. Went to BYU. I was brought up Mormon, so I went at 19, went on a 2-year mission. Then went back to BYU, graduated in illustration. Kind of felt like I wasn't really that good. I definitely wasn't. I didn't know how bad I was. But then I found the Florence Academy through a friend, and I was pretty early on, so the internet wasn't great resources. I mean, nobody else had really heard of academic study around here. So 2003, I went to the Florence Academy. I guess applied in 2002, went January 2003, ran out of money. 6 months later, came home, had to decide, am I going to get a job and try to paint on the side, or am I going to just go for this? And decided that I couldn't do it part-time. It wasn't something that I guess maybe it was a little bit of a discipline thing. I knew I couldn't go work 8 hours a day and then come home and paint. I had 2 little kids at the time, and I think more though, it was just the selfishness. It was like, I'm gonna do the thing that I really want to do no matter what, and I will figure this out. I will have to. I mean, that was the biggest problem to solve, is how do I go about this? I didn't have really anybody showing me like how to be a professional, or how to approach a gallery, or how to promote yourself. Social media didn't exist, so how, what do you paint? I didn't have that many ideas. I remember early on, like I stumbled on one landscape that I did in Florence that worked pretty well, and I was really struggling with what to paint. I was so raw as like I didn't grow up with any art. I didn't know anything about art history. I knew something about illustration history because I studied that. But I was so raw as an artist. I just was, I don't know. I had no ideas. So I took that one painting that was successful and, got some attention. And I think I probably made 13 or 14 different variations of it, and sold them all. Which helped me just kind of keep going. But it also kind of helped me figure out what is it that people were responding to, as I was like fumbling around on other projects at the same time. I was starting to figure out the aesthetics of art, and what that meant to me. So I don't know, it was a weird thing, and it was hard for a lot of years, but I don't think I could have done it any other way. I think I had to just go all in for my personality, and just find a way to make it work. And then 3.5 years later, January 2007, I went back to Florence because I knew I was missing something. My process was really slow. I knew I couldn't make a living being as clumsy as I was. And so I went back and graduated in 2008. And then at that point, while I was in school, I was also selling at galleries. So I was painting outside of class all the time. At that point, I had 3 kids. I had like an hour bike ride to and from school. And I think in the first 6 months of school, you're going like 10, 12 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Add the commute to that and add the kids. And, I still made, I think it was like 72 paintings outside of class, just on my own in the first 6 months, just because that was my motivation. I knew what the academy was for. I knew it was going to help me get the skills. It was going to help me progress and get more efficient and understand myself better, in a much more economical way than I could have ever figured it out on my own. And it did that. But at the same time, I wasn't motivated by being a good student. I always wanted my art to improve. So I made it a priority to work on my own paintings all the time. Even when we were hiring models on the weekend, I had an idea I wanted to pursue. It wasn't like, okay, I need more practice on a portrait. I mean, certainly there was that, but I wanted to paint an idea. I would take models out around Florence and photograph them in different settings and different costumes. And, so the first paintings I did when I got back were a 40 by 70 of a girl in front of Casa di Dante, with pigeons around. And I did a portrait of my friend Jordan Sokol,
Mm.
We used to go out painting outside of Pisa with him and a girl Costanza and Tim McGuire, and so I did some studies of him out when we were painting, and then I did a big 6 foot by 7 foot painting of him and his easel behind him and his sketch up on the easel, and then the scene he's sketching. And then I did like a 5 foot by 10 foot landscape of the Catterskill Clove, which I went to the Hudson River School,
Hmm.
2007, 2008. So collected all the studies, and then so when I graduated, I was like coming out. I had these big ideas, and I mean the timing sucked because it was 2008, and everything crashed, and then I came home, and I had given up my most of my clientele because I was just doing mostly landscapes. And then I came back from Florence, and now I was doing figures in the landscape, and I had a lot of figure ideas. So I was working at the same time as the big crash. I decided to do paintings that had far less of an audience, that were really big, so had much bigger prices on them. And it's just like the timing of that was like the worst.
Oh,
Uh,
painful.
but it worked. I mean, again, it was kind of a slog to get back going and restart the career because I had taken that hiatus as a student. Even though I was still selling in galleries, it definitely did kind of knock me down as with my momentum professionally. And then, gosh, I think I was selling in maybe 8 or 9 galleries, and I realized I wasn't doing this as good of work as I thought I should be. And then I pulled out of galleries altogether for like 3 or 4 years, which again just killed all my momentum. And now for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been selling in galleries again, and yeah, I keep shooting myself in the foot, but it is what it is, I guess.